Hello everybody, welcome to vlog number 4. Before we get into the poker, I wanted to share some nature views with you. This is Zion National Park in Utah, a fascinating desert-like terrain but with lots of vegetation. I wanted to share my experience because I was able to clear my mind before hopping into one of the biggest games I was about to play. Poker can be one of the most brutal games out there, and I find that meditation, nature hikes, yoga can greatly improve one's game. One's own mind can be the downfall of one's true potential. It is crucial to leave emotions off the table. Now, I'm not saying to become a robot at the table. All I'm saying is to not let emotions hijack your mind. Because once it does, it might already be too late to turn back. So, with that being said, enjoy the views, enjoy Zion, and as always, thank you all for watching.
Hey guys, I'm here with Trap Poker. We're at the Rampage and Mariano meetup game here at MGM Grand. He's gonna win a lot of money today.
Do the same thing too, okay?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's run it up. 10K profit.
10K? Damn, I like that.
What's up everyone? Welcome to vlog number 4. We buy in for $1,000 in the 2-5 game. It's uncapped, it's action packed, and let's kick things off right away with pocket tens in the under the gun +1 position. The straddle is on. I raise it up to 35. Without hesitation, the button decides to defend his straddle. We're going heads up, out of position, and we get a board of ace queen 4, all spades. I continue with a bet of $50 since I should have all the aces here, and my opponent decides to defend. Right away we hit the spade, so we hit our flush draw. However, it's not the nuts, so I'm gonna probably check because he could be calling with a random king of spades here. But when he quickly checks back, I feel a lot better. And when the 8 of hearts appears and bricks out, essentially, I decide I could go out for some value, attack some lower flushes. I put out a bet of $100, and let's see how this goes. My opponent snap calls, and unfortunately for him, it's no good. Alright, so moving in the right direction early on in the sesh, we're stacking chips. I feel like I'm getting in the zone, and look at this. We look down at pocket jacks in the under the gun +1 position. Under the gun raises it up to 15. I'm gonna put in a 3-bet and put him to the test. I make it 65. The button cold calls and the initial raiser calls. 3 ways headed to a flop with almost $200 in the middle. We get a board of 973 with 2 hearts. It's a great flop, and they both just check to me. Easy game here. I put in a continuation bet of $100. The button decides to actually call here, and now the under the gun player decides to put in a raise, and he makes it huge. He makes it $500. Not in front of Mariano, man. Now I'm in the blender and Mariano's witnessing this. I feel like Mariano would snap call this off. I'm thinking of just jamming here, but this player hasn't played a single hand this whole time. He was under the gun, and so I just put in the fold because he could have all the aces and kings and queens here. He could have all the sets here. Moving forward, we're playing a double board PLO bomb pot. There's already $175 in the middle, and we look down at a monster. We have king 9 of diamonds with king queen. We have nut flush draw on the top board, and we have top set on the bottom board. We're absolutely crushing both boards. I put out a bet of $75. We get the button and also The big blind player tags along. $400 in the middle, and right away we hit the nut flush on the top board. We still have our top set on the bottom board. There's no way we can lose this. I put in $250 and only the button calls. All we gotta do is dodge a club on the bottom board, and we don't want the top board to pair up, giving someone else a full house. And with the 9 of spades and deuce of hearts, we stay with the nuts on both boards. There's nothing else to do but to just go all in, and that's what I do. I put in my remaining $600 in the middle. And now we just cross our fingers and pray that he calls. Whatever he called me all the way down, I hope it's strong enough for him to call, but he ends up folding, and I just show my hand because this is just a monster and it just looks cool.
That was a flush on top?
Flush on top, set on bottom, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That looks pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, pocket aces.
Really? Wow.
Button stays.
Wow.
Does not shift that.
That's crazy. That's set on top, but he has flush on the top as well.
Whatever you guys
And yeah, flush on the flush draw on the bottom as well.
I'm here for you guys.
That's crazy.
In the next hand, we look down at ace 6 suited in middle position, and we raise this up to $25, and the big blind decides to defend. He starts off with a check on a board of ace deuce 3, which hits his range more often than mine. I decide to check it back, and with the 6 of clubs appearing, and when he checks it again, I decide it's time to put out a value bet of $25. I don't expect him to have 5-4 offsuit here too often, and he makes the call. So I'm not really sure what he has here, but when the 4 of clubs comes on the river, it's just disastrous because now he's leading into me for $45, and now I'm in the blender. I feel like this is an easy fold, but I was a little curious as what he would have in the big blind here. I couldn't really figure out any combos, so I make the call and he has 6-5 offsuit. The old big blind special. Alright, so I end up changing tables, and Wolfgangpoker is here on this table, and he's a really awesome dude. You should check out his channel. Anyways, before I could even set up my camera, I looked down at ace king suited in the under the gun position. I raise it up to 15, and the button decides to call. We get a board of king 7-4, and I decide what to check, and he continues with a bet of $30. I make the call. Turn brings in another king. I continue the story of not having a king. I check. He puts out a bet of 50, but now it's time to put in a raise. I min raise it to $100, and doesn't take too long before making the call. Heading to a river now with $297 in the middle. We get the 4 of clubs, and now we're sitting with the nut full house, and it's time to follow through with a bet. I decide to polarize my range with a big overbet. I make it $400. And now this puts my opponent in the blender, which is what I want. I want him to overthink this spot. I want him to be uncomfortable. I want him to overthink this and assume that this is a bluff. I want him to question why I only check the flop. I want him to be confused, because hopefully he might make the call, but he ends up putting in the fold and says, is 7 any good here? No, sir, it's not.
Welcome to the game. Happy to have you. A little exciting.
Thank you, brother. I'll subscribe to you. Oh, you already.
Did you hit the bell on him too?
I did it, yeah.
Oh, and then you're gonna do this to me? I just sent you a subscribe.
I make it $35 to go here in the cutoff with 5-4 of diamonds. We get the button to call, and we get the big blind to also call. The middle position player who limped in originally, he's a new subscriber. He also makes the call. And we get a pretty good flop, a combo draw. We get the gutty, and we also have the flush draw. When they check to me, I put out a bet of $100, and they all fold. This is such an easy game. Easy game.
Thank you.
In the following hand, we look down at 7-6 of diamonds. We have the cutoff who makes it $15, and I decide this is a perfect time to 3-bet bluff. 7-6 of diamonds has a lots of playability post flop, especially in position. I can definitely do a lot of damage with this hand, but he ends up just making the fold here, and I don't blame him at all. In the next hand, we look down at ace queen offsuit in middle position. I bump things up to $20. The button decides to make the call, and we're off to a run out, heads up, and it comes pretty good. We get ace queen 10, so we make top 2 pair here. I put out a bet of $40, and the button decides to make the call. Off to a turn now. Things can get very dicey in a triple Broadway flop, especially when the king of diamonds appears on the turn. So any jack makes a straight. So if you call me a queen jack, jack 10, I decide to just check. And surprisingly, he also makes the check. So headed to a river now, which comes surprisingly the jack of hearts. So now I have the nuts, and so does he. So there's clearly no point of betting here. I just check and he checks back.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I was worried about it.
Holy shit.
You got saved, bro.
You're like,
The
queen
king saved you.
Yeah. He got saved by the turn.
I was gonna blast any river.
Wow. Top 2 and bottom 2. Wow.
Yeah.
Spades, turned over the 4 aces. But this is what's nuts. Those are the only cards turned face up in the deck. But this is what's really crazy. I actually got these aces from a different deck. And I wrote something on the back. Tell everybody what card you thought of again.
The 7 of spades.
The 7 of spades. That's why I took these aces and I wrote the 7 of spades. Damn!
That was freaking beautiful.
Yeah. Magic is BS. Oh yeah, just follow Magic is BS. Stands for Brian Sanders.
As I'm getting ready to leave and getting a shot of my chips for my outro, Mariano decides to just photobomb me and show off his massive amount of chips. I think it's about close to $4,000, and I decide, you know what, let's gamble. I want to play with one of the best players here. In this hand, we have the under the gun player. He limps in for $5, and I look down at King Jack of diamonds. I make it $25 to go, and the player on my left decides to make the call. Mariano on the button decides to put in the call as well. So now we're 4 ways headed to the flop with $100 about in the middle, and the board comes Queen Jack 5 Rainbow. It goes check, check. I decide to check, and the button also decides to check. And now with trips here, when it checks to me, I decide to put in a check as well and put in a trap. Hopefully Mariano decides to put in a bet, but unfortunately he checks it back. Now with the ace of hearts here, I decide to check again, and hopefully Mariano decides to take a stab at this pot with the ace of hearts here on the river, but unfortunately he just checks it back.
Man.
3 jacks.
3 jacks.
Thank you.
Trap poker.
Yeah, cool.
Do you know you have red in your green stack?
Yeah. Kill me. Oh my god.
God.
Can you do me up? I'm going back.
Okay.
Oh my god, it's both of them right here. That's about to get fucking crazy.
Good table end the night. Yeah.
They're not allowed to combine their stacks and use 4 cards.
20.
I just see another big stuff. Yo, yeah, you gotta get your. Oh no, you're already out. Yeah, I don't know. Why are you? Oh,
Straddling?
why are we going to
Okay,
2-5?
we have a straddle
Who's just
and a
expected to be
raise
5?
to 20.
Just 2-5?
I don't know, man. We're all the same.
$20 to command.
This is the view king right here.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything for the views.
I'll pour myself up for views.
Literally anything.
I'll lose 100K for views.
That's the spirit.
And then.
Oh, you did.
Raise 125.
Thanks.
We know he's not joking.
Didn't mean to immediately like that. Really, you saw that at least, right? Yeah, I'm glad. I was actually at the Hustlers. I was telling Mariano.
Things get really crazy when Rampage gets on the table because we've been playing rounds of triple, quadruple straddles, and I finally pick up a premium during the triple straddle while Rampage is on the end. So it's $40 to come in, and I make it $130. It folds around back to Rampage, and he decides on a call. Heads up now, me and Rampage, and there's $337 in the middle. If there's any hand I'm going broke with, it's definitely ace queen of clubs. And when the board comes king 8-5 rainbow with one club, I decide that this is the perfect hand to put out a continuation bet. I have backdoor straight, backdoor flush, I block ace king, I block king queen. This is perfect. I put out a bet of $225. And Rampage decides to snap fold. Phew, I'm so glad because I was gonna fire a turn bet, a river shove. Like, I was willing to go broke with this hand.
What's up, everybody? I'm here at the 2-5 meetup game with Rampage and Mariano. We got to play a few hands together finally, and I'm about to head to work.
On the real grind, man. If you're watching this video, help them out here. Like, subscribe, comment for the algorithm, all that fun stuff. We're grinding on here. He's going to work. He's playing the 2-5 and working. Help the kid out, man.
See you guys later.
So we started the session with $1,000 and we're leaving with $1,700. So thank you guys all for watching. I appreciate all the likes and comments and support. Stay tuned for some more.